Saints 49ers second preseason game is actually happening right now while I'm making this video. I want to talk about the first team offense. I want to talk about what we saw from the starters, the offensive starters. We'll talk about the defense too, but I want to hit on something here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to lie to you. During the first two possessions, I was concerned. First two possessions, we see 3 plays, 8 yards. Not good, including a horrific punt by Lou Hedley. Next possession, 3 plays, 3 yards. Not good. Now, right here, I was concerned. Because right here, I was thinking, are we going to see a first down in the entirety of the preseason? Are we going to see the first team offense actually move the football whatsoever? Or are they just going to go out there, have a couple of reps, 5-6 reps, and then go sit down? So I was happy to see they came out for the third possession. And then what a treat we got. We got a treat of 16 plays, 95 yards, and a touchdown. This right here, it's got to make you feel good. This possession has to kind of calm down some of the panic that's been around this offense. Was it perfect? No. Carr behind on some throws. Obviously, the offensive line held up actually kind of better. I'm not going to lie. The offensive line was a little bit better this game so far, at least the starters. And it's not really the starters because Talise Fuaga wasn't out there, but whoever started this particular game, they had their moments, but overall much better than the first week. But what I really want to talk about here is that we finally saw it. We finally saw a little bit of what Clint Kubiak's system is going to look like, a little bit of what this offense can do, a little bit of what they're going to try and do, more importantly. Because up until this possession right here, it was all a mystery. Up until this possession right here, I felt like I was watching like the last season of Game of Thrones. And I was thinking, it's going to work out. Don't worry. It's going to work out in episode after episode after episode. It's like, okay, we're building up to something. I think it's going to work out, but I really have no clue. I'm just going to trust. And then it doesn't work out, right? I was kind of getting to that point where I was thinking, we're just not going to see it. Like after these first two possessions, I was thinking, we are not going to see what this... Y'all hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Y'all hear that? Sunday night, we got party trailers driving by the studio, downtown New Orleans. But I was thinking we're not going to see anything. We're just going to see a couple handoffs here, a couple bad passes there, and then we'll see a week one. We'll see it against Carolina in the Dome. This was a thing of beauty. Passes, but really what I liked to see was how we ran the football. And not just the results, because again, we don't really care that much about the results. How we ran it, we were so creative. No runs looked the same. There were runs, there were tosses in there. There was Taysom runs out of the backfield. There was Taysom runs from fullback and from halfback. Jamaal Williams was running all over the place. We saw the wide zone run scheme. We saw runs up the middle. We saw motion. We saw play action. We saw naked bootlegs with Derek Carr. I mean, there was just a tremendous amount of creativity on this drive. This drive, 16 plays, multiple, or 2, I guess, 2 fourth downs, 4th and goal with the 1 for the Taysom fullback dive up the middle, 4th and 5 with Carr above means sighting. Mims looked fantastic. This was the first game that we really saw him kind of step into his zone. And then, like I said, Jamaal Williams was good. But that's what we're going to try and do. We're going to try and run the football in multiple different ways, disguising everything, look the same pre-snap, and then all of a sudden it could be a toss, could be up the middle, it could be some kind of sweep, it could be a fullback dive, could be any of our, I guess, 5 ball carriers. Then play action off of that. Carr's going to push the ball downfield. It's a thing of beauty. It really was. And I think the fans needed it, certainly. But I think the team needed it too. And I don't know if Kubiak had enough. I don't know if he saw those first 2 drives and said, okay, Jesus, we can't do this again. And he said, well, let's just see if we can really put this together. Because this drive felt so different than the other drives. Not just because of the results, not just because we scored, not just because of the first downs, not just because of all that, but just the play calling. Like just the scheme, just the system itself. if this is what we are going to do, which obviously it is what we're going to try and do, and this isn't the perfect thing, like this isn't the whole thing. They're not going to show the entirety of it in the preseason. So this right here is a prototype, if you will, a basic version of what a drive will look like for us. And my, oh my, how different that drive is. How different is that drive? Let's look at the box score real quick. Jamaal Williams averaged 6.4 yards a carry. James Robinson, 5.4 yards a carry. Jordan Mims, 3.7 yards a carry. Taysom Hill, 4.2 yards a carry. There was 4.4 yards a carry, 28 carries for 122 yards. I don't know if we had 122 yards rushing in any game last year. Carr, 7 for 9, 47 yards. Obviously, the game's still going on, so these are updating. Olave looked fantastic. I think Olave is proving, or at least in the preseason, that he is certainly going to be the guy, and he's ready to be the guy. I thought he was good. I'll tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. It's crazy how fast stuff happens. I don't know if Kendra Miller is going to make the roster. I think Kendra Miller's on the cut line. I really do. Because your backup running back is Jamaal Williams. And then Jordan Mims right now is making the roster well ahead of Kendra Miller. Kendra Miller's, it's crazy how fast we're 5 months ago, probably earlier than that, but 5 months ago, we had people saying, you know what? I've seen enough. I've seen enough out of the 170 yards rushing he had last year. Let's go ahead and get rid of Kamara and make Kendra Miller the starting running back. And fast forward to middle of the second preseason game, and how confident are you that he's going to make the roster? How confident are you that he's going to be on the team? Telling you, there's a lot that goes into it. There is a whole lot that goes into it. It ain't just a spark here and a spark there. So hopefully Kendra can get on the field, and hopefully, I'm rooting for him. But Jordan Mims is taking every bit of the opportunity. Who is not taking every bit of the opportunity? Jordan Howden. He didn't look great today. Got shook out of his shoes. Left his shoes on the 3-yard line, courtesy of Joshua Dobbs. Tweeted out that Josh Dobbs to the Saints is what Eli Manning was to the Patriots, and it's true. He is had PTSD watching him run sideline to sideline to pick up first downs. But Howden wasn't great. Besides him, I think the defense looks outstanding. The defense looks legit. Why? Because exactly what I said about last year. What was our problem area last year? Anybody in the back? Pass rush. Defensive line. Currently, what's our strongest point on the defense? Chase Young, Brian Brzee, the defensive line, the pass rush. Chase Young's everywhere. Brian Brzee was hitting Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy was hit twice on the first possession. San Francisco doesn't like that. So our defensive line so far in the preseason, I think Chase Young might be the MVP of the preseason. Neck surgery. If that's what neck surgery does to somebody, I might go get neck surgery tomorrow. Chase Young looks like he could be the defensive player of the year. Guy looks like I hope Mickey Loomis is drawing up a contract extension right now. What we're seeing is a top 5 defense and a very viable offense that's kind of coming together. And we've been screaming it from the mountaintops for months. But that algorithm, that doesn't equal the worst team in the NFL. You don't get an offense that can move the ball, a creative offense, playmakers, and a top 5 defense in a weak division. That does not equal lowest scoring team or first overall pick or fewest wins or some of the stuff that we've had to talk about in the last couple of weeks. I'm very happy that Kubiak kind of opened lid a little bit on the play calling and said, let's see what we can do. Let's show a little bit. Because I liked what I saw. I did. I thought it was so creative. The usage of Taysom, just the running game as a whole. And if you watched last year, how different did it look? That's all I could think about. All I could think about was how different everything looked. Even like the passing plays, like the naked bootleg with Carr. Like I said, even the design of the runs. It was just so fast, and the tempo was there, and the design was there, and creativity was there. Just fantastic. It really was. And it goes to show you, too, that the offensive line isn't fixed, but it goes to show you that when you're creative with the run game, like we were, and we were having success, again, we averaged 4.5 yards a carry, and you're having success, it makes the offense look a whole lot better. We weren't just running the ball up the middle. We ran Taysom up the middle. Where was the Taysom play? Let's see. We ran Taysom up the middle, and it was just an absolute disaster. Right here. Taysom up the middle to New Orleans for -1 yard on the second possession. Then, after that, it looked totally different. Kubiak made the adjustment. Running game looked completely different. We got away from the halfback lead, halfback dive kind of stuff. We started doing some of the zone, started getting on the outside again, some of the tosses. It felt new. It really did. And we had huge success. We had 16 plays, 95 yards. I saw where that's the first 95-plus yard drive for a touchdown the Saints have had in the last 7 years. First in the last 7 years. And it's on the road in the second preseason game. This is the worst version of this offense, ladies and gentlemen. This offense is only going to get better. It's only going to learn itself. The players are going to get comfortable. The coaches are going to get comfortable. Again, Carr wasn't that good. I think Carr threw a lot of balls behind the receivers. The one that hit Cedric Wilson in the face on the third down, that ball was thrown way behind him. Olave saved him on one of the catches. I think it was on the first possession. I'm on the first possession here. Let's see. Yeah, Olave. Yeah, it was this one. It was the Chris Olave for 3 yards. It was high. Olave went up and got it. But that's okay. That's okay. Carr is going to get more comfortable and hopefully get a little more accurate. It is the preseason again. I'm not too concerned about that. He's an 11-year vet. But you factor all that stuff in. Kamara's not playing. Talise Fuaga's not playing. We're still learning. So, finally we see something from this offense. Finally, we see something. And we see the same thing from the defense. We see the same consistent thing from the defense. And that defense is going to play all year long. It's going to play all year long. I mean, and it's just something, we talked about how we're in quote-unquote cap hell and that the Saints are in this, people think the Saints are in this world of mediocrity. But even though we're in this quote-unquote cap hell, we still went and addressed positions we needed by getting players like Chase Young. Young, cheap players, or young players on cheap contracts, I guess you should say, that are team-friendly contracts, who then the team has control if they want to extend or not. Chase Young on a prove-it deal comes in, and right now, looks fantastic. So, I'm excited. I mean, game's still going on. We're down 13-10. I started recording this right after Spencer Rattler, right after they punted with Rattler. I think it was this one. It was like 4th and 12. Yeah, right here. Yes, 4th and 12, punt from Rattler. That's where I started making this video. So then there was a missed field goal, another punt, and now San Francisco has the ball. Blake Grupe, King Grupe, 52-yard field goal. Huh? Ladies and gentlemen, Grupe must have been working out. Grupe must have been doing the leg extensions. I respect that. We need more out of Headley. Headley was not great early in the game. I was not impressed. Not impressed with what Headley was doing. So we need more out of him for sure. But that's, I'm not going to worry about the punting too much in the preseason. But I just loved what I saw out of the first team offense, and I wanted to get on here and I wanted to say, look. Oh, and there's something else too. Spencer Rattler. So Rattler wasn't bad. The fumble was bad. The fumble, he had time. He could have stepped up in the pocket. And then he just held on to it, pulled it down, fumbled it. That one's on him for sure. That one is not a pocket collapsed. And so this happened. That is a quarterback turnover right there. Rattler was fine. Rattler showed some of the glimpses that we saw last preseason game. Rattler showed the arm. He showed some athleticism. But he also showed that sometimes not everything lines up perfectly. sometimes there's bad snaps, right? We saw one of the worst snaps I've ever seen. He got on top of the ball and fine, but there was a drive where he could a 2-minute drive where he couldn't get it done. It happens, right? So let's see where that is. I think it's right here. Yeah, it's right here. He gets the ball, 2 minutes. They're trying to drive down and score, and it doesn't work out. So yeah, that was the bad snap. It was the bad snap possession, but no fault of Rattler's own. But it just shows you that sometimes you got to go through trials and tribulations, and not everything is as perfect as his first game. And hopefully also a reminder of, hey, let the kid develop. Let him go through those trials and tribulations. Let's not force him into being the franchise quarterback just yet. So, love it. Very happy with what we saw, or what I saw, and certainly in the first half of this game. Certainly with the first-team offense. And I'm going to sleep a little bit easier tonight. I think everyone watching should see that and say, okay, there's something here, right? I see the vision now, because before it was all just kind of theory. It was all like, no, trust me, this will work. No, trust me, don't worry, it'll be cool. But finally, we get to see, like, okay, this is what it could look like, a version of this. This is the baseline. Like, let's pretend that 16-play drive, and I don't mean 16-play touchdown drive, 95-yard touchdown drives is the baseline. But what they did on that possession, the play action, the different kind of design runs, Taysom in multiple spots in the backfield, multiple ball carriers, the offense kind of going off of the run, all of that. Like, look at that possession and say, okay, bits and pieces of this is the vision. Bits and pieces of this is what we're going to try and do. So now you can see it. Now you can see how effective it can be. I'm thrilled that we finally got to see it. Ladies and gentlemen, get on down in the comments below. Let me know what you thought about the first team. Or anything else you want to say about the preseason game, whether it's the defense, who I think looked great, Chase Young, who I think looked great, Brian Brzee, who I think looked great. What do you think? Kendra Miller making the roster? Jordan Mills? What's going to happen? Let me know, and let me know about that 16-play drive. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.